If you're interested in biomedical science and you're not sure if you want to pursue it as a career, then let me tell you 8 reasons why it might just be perfect for you. Hi, my name's Abdul and I'm a fully qualified biomedical scientist working for the NHS in cellular pathology. Reason number 1, investigating diseases. If, like me, you studied biomedical science or a related course at uni and you really enjoyed the aspect of investigating diseases, then working as a BMS allows you to see how patients are actually diagnosed in real life. You get to follow and process patient samples from the moment they are received into the lab all the way through to producing results for doctors to diagnose the disease. You also get to see exactly what's wrong with the patient from the results that you produce using a variety of interesting techniques and equipment. Reason number 2, hands-on experience. So being a BMS is a more hands-on type of job where you get to use different techniques and machines to produce diagnostic samples. I found the balance between computer/data analysis work and manual work was really good because you're not spending too much time on one or the other. For me, just sitting at a computer all day typing just seems so soul destroying. I'd rather have a job that requires me to be more dynamic. I'd rather perform tasks manually. Reason number 3, fulfillment. On a deeper note, being a BMS is a more fulfilling career because you actually make a huge difference to people's lives. There's a statistic that 70% of patients that visit the hospital have their samples sent to a pathology lab. So your job as a BMS is incredibly relevant and important for these patients' diseases to be diagnosed and treated. That feeling is definitely better than working at a corporate job that only cares about profits. As a BMS, you're never not making a difference to people's lives. Everything you do as a BMS is for the patient to ensure that they get the right treatment to stay alive. So I would say to choose a career that is more fulfilling because that is way better for you than chasing a higher salary job that doesn't give you any sense of importance. Reason number 4, you hate people. Now, what do I mean by this? Working as a BMS, you don't have to deal with patients face to face. So if you don't like the general public, then this might just be perfect for you. Especially if you worked in retail or sales, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you come in, work in your own space, and then you leave and you don't have to interact with any angry patients. Number 5, sense of responsibility. As a BMS, you have quite a lot of responsibility, which can be seen as both a positive and a negative. The positive aspect being that you have that sense of importance, that your role is necessary, but can be negative in the sense that you might experience more pressure. However, I wouldn't worry about that too much because you're always working as part of a team. And if things go wrong, there's always a senior you can go to. That being said, you might find yourself in high pressure situations where urgent results are needed. For me, this is actually quite exciting because it's in those moments that you realize how important your job is and how much you matter as a BMS. I mean, I found myself in situations where a consultant has come to me asking me to process a sample urgently as a matter of life and death. During those moments, you get to showcase all the skills that you've developed, and you really feel proud knowing that all your efforts has just saved a life. And it's also an amazing feeling to see your own personal development as a BMS. But these situations are actually quite rare, especially for more junior members of staff, so I wouldn't worry about that so much. And to tell you the truth, it's actually something we as biomedical scientists look forward to. It's quite exciting to be in those high pressure situations. But at the end of the day, the doctors make the big decisions. So that takes a lot of pressure off. Number 6, you're always learning. So even after 3 years of being a BMS, I'm learning new things about techniques that I've been doing for years. And also you get put in an environment with a bunch of other different healthcare professionals that you can learn from. And in my experience, they were always happy to share their knowledge with me about any sort of questions I had about a case or just any general queries. They were always quite receptive and they're always ready to share knowledge with anyone who wants to listen. Reason number 7, your entry to medicine. So I know it's a meme that biomed students are just failed medical students, but if that's you, then don't worry because being a BMS is actually a great route of entry into medicine. Working as a BMS gives you a great insight into what doctors actually do. So then you don't have to just dive straight into a 5-year medical degree and then find out this actually isn't for me. Also, your application to medical school will look so much better if they see that you've been working as a biomedical scientist because you can talk about all your experiences and examples and all the skills you've developed. For me personally, I didn't want to go into medicine because the effort to gain ratio was just not enough. As a BMS, I found it was much more attainable and you get paid at the same time. You can become a registered BMS quite quickly, like within 7 to 8 months, depending on how quickly you can gather evidence and write it up. Number 8, transferable skills. If you find that working as a BMS still isn't for you, then I still wouldn't worry because you develop so many transferable skills that you can overlap in any sort of career and field that you want to go into. Develop skills like communication, team working, time management, organization, problem solving, and so much more. You'll be able to talk about countless examples and experiences that are relevant in any field. So even if you decided against staying as a BMS, you will have developed invaluable set of skills that can be used in any sort of career. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I will be making more talking about my experience as a BMS, what it actually involves, my sort of career path, and how you can actually get into it if you wanted. So if that interests you, then follow, hit subscribe, and if you've got any questions or queries, leave a comment. Hopefully I'll get to answer them in future videos. Take care.